losing streak. And this is why everybody was off the Purdy bandwagon. I was one of the first people on it, and I was more than welcome to invite others to join because I said when that game against Tampa Bay last year, I said, get Tampa Bay. They're not great. I understand that. This is a rookie quarterback. He played in relief of Garoppolo the week prior to against Miami. Todd Bowles, a smart defensive head coach. He saw film on Purdy. So the Buccaneers. See what he did? I mean, he's just flinging it all over the field. And that, to me, showed the difference when people were saying, oh, well, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo do this. No, we didn't. Kyle Shanahan, check the tape, check the numbers, check everything. Coached when Jimmy Garoppolo was his quarterback, coached not to lose. It's Jimmy. Don't make a mistake. Don't screw it up. Purdy, let it fly, kid. By the way, here's Brock Purdy's numbers in case for those of you that don't think he's good. By the way, making big time throws. How about I mentioned the Stroud stats about him throwing 20 or more yards down the field. Brock Purdy on 15 or more 15 yard plus throws in week 10. So yesterday, he got this is according to Pro Football Focus, by the way. He got a 98.6 passing grade first. He went 7 for 7, a $184, 3 touchdowns, and had a perfect passer rating. For the record, he still leads the NFL in passer rating. Not even Stroud, not even, Hurts or Dak or Mahomes. Nope, still Purdy. Still sturdy Purdy. He's still in yards, first in yards per pass, and 7th in completion percentage at about 68, if you round up 69%. You say, well, Bryson, didn't you just say 2 weeks ago when they played the Cincinnati Bengals that, Brock Purdy needs all the working pieces around to win? Well, yes, I did say that. But here's the key factor that you might be forgetting about what I said 2 weeks ago. Brock Purdy is a guy who does need the pieces around him to be successful. But if he does, the Niners can win the Super Bowl. And that, my friends, you saw some of the quarterback play yesterday. That's more than you can say about a lot of guys. That's why I say, and I may have jumped the gun a little bit after that game against Dallas and putting him at the edge of right at number 10, 10th best quarterback in the league. Might have jumped the gun a little bit. But can you name me 12 quarterbacks better than Brock Purdy? That's kind of where I got him. That 12, like that Kirk Cousins area, that's where I've got Derek Carr area. I mean, I'm higher in Carr the most, but that's where I've got Brock Purdy. The numbers don't lie. The film doesn't lie. And the trust that Kyle Shanahan puts in him doesn't lie. Now, the only downside, and it's a little one, because listen, I don't want us to act like Jacksonville is just a bunch of bums. This team had the longest winning streak in football until yesterday. They were doing something right. Okay, Trevor in this winning streak had a passer rating over 100. And I'll get to Trevor in just a second. And the Jaguars defense was number 1 in the NFL in takeaways. Like they were doing, and Doug Peterson, we know how good of a coach he is. Travis Etienne running the football very effectively. He's been one of the better running backs quietly, been one of the better running backs in the league this season. Like Jacksonville was doing something right. And San Francisco came in and bludgeoned them. By the way, Jaguars coming off a bye too, which makes the win for San Francisco all the more impressive. The only issue, though, with San Francisco, and we did see this in that 3-game losing streak. What's the stat with Kyle Shanahan? I think it's something like 0-30, 0-29, or 1-29. Like in 30 games, or he's like 1-29 when trailing by 5 or more going into the fourth quarter. It's something along those lines. Like when San Francisco is kind of in a dogfight and they're trailing, they struggle to close. They struggle to come back because in some ways, maybe their roster isn't built to come back. It's built to, it's kind of like Mike Tyson. Right, like Mike Tyson, when Mike Tyson gets up on you, man, forget it. You're done. It's over. Again, I mentioned Shaquille O'Neal, or like Shaquille O'Neal was, if Shaquille O'Neal's got you on the ropes, you're up 10 going the fourth quarter. To use a Shaq phrase that he uses often on inside the NBA, get the ball to the big man, let him dominate. Get the ball to the big man. Just get the ball to the big man. He's going to get it done. But if we're tied in the fourth quarter and you hack a Shaq, then it's a different problem because then Shaq can't beat you at the free throw line. San Francisco does struggle to come back. That said, when they're on their, forget A+ game, they're on their A- game, which they were on their A+ game yesterday. Basically, everybody that wore gold helmet played well. But if they're on their A- game, they can beat pretty much everybody pretty comfortably. I maintained, even in the 3-game losing streak, I still maintained on this show, that's the best roster in football. I mean, please tell me the weakness. Again, and I've said this even since the Week 5 game against Dallas. Before that, I said if Brock Purdy is the weak link of the Niners, that's the best team in football. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily going to be number 1 on Bryson's best 10. You'll have to tune in for that on Wednesday. Though obviously were number 8 the last couple of weeks. Last week, just because they didn't play, they were on a bye. But you just have to tune in Wednesday around 7 o'clock to 7 Eastern to see where I have the Niners. But yeah, this team is pretty much back. They're pretty much back. Heck of a win for the Niners. Very, very, very impressed. As for Jacksonville, so this is about the worst case scenario minus injuries to your best players that you could have possibly imagined for if you're a Jags fan. So look, here's my thing for Jacksonville. Every team in the NFL has a burn the tape game. Every team has it. Dallas has maybe 2 with Arizona and San Francisco. Arizona's a far more. I mean, San Francisco, we saw what they did yesterday too. A very good Jags team. Arizona, that's a different story. But I get Dobbs at quarterback. Getting to Joshua Dobbs later in the show. I get Dobbs at quarterback. You can't lose that game as a double-digit favorite. The Detroit Lions have a burn the tape game. See how the Lions looked yesterday? Yeah, they scored 6 against Baltimore. Burn the tape. Forget it ever happened. Let's just move on. Every team has a bad day at the Kansas City has a burn the tape game. They scored 9 points against the Broncos, who gave up a 70-pointer to Miami. By the way, Miami also has a burn the tape game. Got beat by 4 touchdowns to inconsistent Buffalo. Every team in the NFL is a burn the tape game. This is Jacksonville's. Now, is it concerning from the perspective of Trevor isn't the quarterback? At least he hasn't been to the first. They're 6-3. So 9 games of the season that he was the last 9 games of last year. Sure, that's concerning if you're a Jags fan, an optimistic Jags fan, or a Trevor Lawrence fan, which I am, would say, yeah, but it was literally at this point of the season when he turned it around last year. Week 10, week 11, somewhere around that time, Jags got in a roll. They were 3-7. They were as bad as 3-7 last year, got hot. Went 6-1 their last 7 games, won a playoff game when trailing 27-zip to the Los Angeles Chargers. So I don't think Jacksonville is just in the dumps right now. So you look at the AFC picture, as crazy as the AFC playoff picture is, and it is a mess, even with as hot as Houston has been, despite losing to Houston. Jacksonville's leading the AFC South, and they'd be the 3 seed today playing Cleveland. That'd be a dicey game given how good Cleveland's defense is, but I'd probably take Jacksonville because they're at home and they have the better quarterback and the better coach, while I like Stefanski. Every team has a burn the tape game. Now, am I probably going to have to sell my Trevor Lawrence MVP stock this year? Yeah, probably. I'm going to have to come out and say it's probably, that ship's probably sailed. Trevor was my preseason pick before the season to win MVP. That's probably gone now. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.